Welcome back to those of you who have been following Sam's journey about possibly selling her house, having 11 agents come around and value it, and now being in the position where you've shortlisted 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're in the position where you've had 11 people come to you, 11 agents come around, give you their opinion on its pricing.
Yeah.
Answer your question about strategy for achieving maximum price.
Mm-hmm.
And from that, you've shortlisted 3 of those 11 who you said stood out head and shoulders above the rest. So, exciting times.
Yeah.
You've had a few days to think about that now, because that was 3 days ago, 4 days ago,
Yeah.
the valuation's
So we've
finished.
had Saturday, Sunday, Monday,
Okay,
Tuesday.
so you've discussed it with your family and relevant people.
Mm-hmm.
And so just, in sort of 30 seconds or less, just talk me through that process of where you were when the evaluation's finished to where you are in your head now.
So where I was when the valuations finished, firstly I was mind blown because I went in with a rough guide price and what I thought I would be happy to sell at, and now it almost made me more confused because the valuations ranged. There was a 60 grand difference from 240 up to 300. So I left feeling actually I could still have more valuations because everyone uncovered something different. So that was fascinating. I was left by the end of Friday, after all 11 on Thursday and Friday, that thank God I had all 11.
Okay.
I can't imagine having any less, but actually I've been really lucky in where, because I'd gone from 18, filtered out 6 that just have never replied to this day, or 7 that haven't replied to this day, so obviously weren't interested, so I was left with 11 pretty hungry, good agents. So it was almost harder because 10 out of 11 were really good, and 11 out of 11 I know could sell my house. So I wasn't able to narrow it down by thinking, oh, they couldn't sell it. I narrowed it down with one that I thought, I just, quite frankly, I don't like you. That's a bit mean, but I thought, not dislike, but thought, no. And I thought I'd have more that I just thought, oh, you're nice, but you can't sell my house. Or, I don't like you, but you could sell my house. I was really surprised that after day 1, 6 valuations, I would be happy for anything. I would feel secure that they could all sell it.
Is it fair to say that after day 1, where you had 6 valuations, they were all pretty equal in their standing with you?
Yeah.
So a couple of pluses and minuses. Let's not go into too much detail, but
Yeah.
And then Friday's 5 more valuations.
Yeah.
Kind of raised the bar, didn't it?
Yeah. So Friday, I think Friday, maybe I raised the bar as well because I really wanted to try harder. After speaking to you on Thursday evening, it's my sort of mentor, my own moving home with Charlie mentor, that on the Friday I was like, oh, how are you going to get the best price? Well, we'll do this. And I was like, let's get to the point. How are you going to do it? Like, show me the money.
Sorry, just interpreting what you just said, you're saying that you asked agents how they're going to get the best price, and a lot of them failed to give you a satisfactory answer.
Yeah, the truth is on the first day that it was, hey, we'll put it on Rightmove, we have some applicants on our database, and we'll go to best and final offers. But what I was really hoping to hear,
isn't it? That's what you hear.
It was like, well, that's good. So I was like,
that's
nice.
just what everyone does. That's how everyone sells houses.
Yeah. But then because I was going in harder with the question on the second day, I felt like I dug a little deeper, and the agents gave me better responses of like, I felt much more reassured by 3 in particular of how it's one thing saying, you can sell it for 285. Yeah, but what guarantee, how are you going to do that? Not just list it on
Anyone can say
Rightmove
that, can't
and
they?
go to best and final.
Yeah.
You could list it on Rightmove and for 275, best and final might be 276. I wanted to find the person that's going to go to the end, not to the ends of the earth, that's a bit extreme, they have lives, but to find the person that I can really, really trust, to know that they have gone as to the best price possible with the most realistic buyer. So somebody could say 300,000, but if they're not the right buyer, or they can't afford it, well, they shouldn't be in the running anyway.
So, I remember talking to you after Thursday and saying what you're looking for is the one that you believe knows how to maximise the value, right? So you'd met some nice guys that could all sell your house, but none of them made you feel you're going to maximise this.
Yeah.
And the whole point of these videos is to try to get across to anyone selling their house that when you're moving house, in order to have the highest possible budget for your next home, you need to find an agent, not that can sell your house, because anyone can do that, right?
Yeah.
You need to find the rare agents that can maximise the value of your house and deliver on that. And you said that a lot of them said, well, we're listed on Rightmove. Now, immediately, I know from the agents who, and in fact, your friends who sold their house in London, it never got to Rightmove, did it?
Yeah, exactly.
They achieved a record price because they already knew who was going to buy it. They already had competing buyers lined up. They said something like, I know someone that's just lost out on another house. They're desperate for a house in that street. This is their dream home.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you a record price for the property because they're fed up with missing out. They're going to just go straight in at the top price.
Yeah.
Anyone that instantly says when you ask how, oh, well, we'll put it on Rightmove, automatically that is a red flag that they don't understand how you maximise the value of the property. Because the moment it hits Rightmove, it's already just amongst all the other properties. And you've come out of that exclusive thing of properties that never even got to the market.
And that's where
the agents rang a few people and it got snapped up before it even got onto the internet.
Yeah, I want my property to be one of those that's like, because when my partner bought his house and things like that, and friends have bought other houses, do you want that hunger in yourself as a buyer to be like, oh my god, that agent has told me about a property that hasn't come to market yet. Okay, and then you talk with your partner and be like, what's the maximum we're going to go to? We've already missed out on so many others. Let's get silly. So silly buyers, silly vendors, silly money, get the deal done. Yeah. That's what you want. I mean, I agree with the agents. Of course, put it on Rightmove or whichever portal for maximum exposure. I don't mind that, but I need a little more. I wanted a little more than that. And because of the market we're in, I know that we can get more. It's not a dry market at the moment for selling.
No, exactly.
So
and remember, and Chris and Cass, who did that video for us after they sold their house, they had that experience. They didn't know that experience was achievable, where your property sells for over asking price before it's even gone on the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
If it doesn't, you're in the also rans category. You're in the wait and see if we get interest category.
Yeah.
And you're never going to maximise the value. You might do. You might get a bunch of people lining up for an open house viewing a week after it's been on Rightmove or two. So if it's carefully coordinated and listed on the internet as, this is brand new to market, we're doing open house on that day, registered now if you want to come to that viewing.
Yeah.
I would accept that as a strategy.
Yeah.
And in fact, didn't one of the three that you liked?
Two of them actually suggested.
Right. Okay.
Whether it's open house, back-to-back viewings.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Almost the same,
okay.
isn't it?
You've shortlisted three because they were more compelling to you, primarily because they made you think they know how to maximise the value of your property. Could you please describe the process of whittling those three down to one? So the one that was number three of the three, that you thought that's head and shoulders above the rest, but you've ruled out first, what did that agent do right to get into your top three? And then what did they do wrong? What did they not do? They meant they were the first to be knocked out.
Good questions, Charlie. So the things that am I allowed to say he or she? It doesn't matter, does it?
The agent.
So the things that agent 3 did that I liked is he said that he had buyers lined up already. He said, I've already, without telling them which property it is, he said, I've already got buyers lined up that might be interested, and I've got investors lined up as well. One in particular that I know is looking for another property relatively soon, and showed me a property that this investor had already bought, which is similar to my house, etc., etc.
But for agents watching this, they'll be saying, well, anyway, any agent can say they've got buyers lined up. They all say that. And they did all say that.
Yeah, so
this guy actually made you believe he'd spoken to individuals.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
That's the point.
I think it was 4 or 5 that he said that he'd spoken to or knew of that would be interested. And the story he gave me for the investor as well, one in particular, I think it was 3 investors, but made it believable. I also know with that brand, because they do a lot of, well, I know that they do investments and they have a lot of commercial properties and they're big all over the southwest. And as much as I'm not so much about the brand, there were interesting points that made it believable that even if there wasn't a buyer in my town, that they had buyers or investors that are looking for second properties or other properties in my area.
Okay.
And that was believable. It was backed up. It
Right.
wasn't. It didn't feel like a lie. It could be, but
And he was a trustworthy guy. You felt
yeah.
Okay.
Trust for me is really important. That, you know, I know you said, oh, I don't need to like them and be their friend, but for me, I'm really on the fence of whether to sell. So trusting somebody that, if I'm uncomfortable at all, the whole process has made me very anxious because I'm on the fence, and it's just like, which path do I go down? Trust's really important. Trusted him. The reason he's number 3 and he's not number 1 was yesterday. You said something to me, which are the hungriest agents? And that's a word we've been using a lot since actually friends of mine sold in London. And my friend, she actually used it. She was like, he was just hungry for it. And I've always liked that. It's like, that's what you want. And so yesterday when you asked me, you know, which one's out of the 3? Who are the hungriest? I was like, if he's hungry, he's not starving.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
he's not ravenous.
yeah, and that's why. And it's no disrespect to him, but he isn't the owner of the business, and it's not because I don't think the owner of the business wouldn't be as good at selling my house, but the other 2 are the owners of their own businesses. Sorry,
Right.
One's an owner, one's a director. And I don't know if it's that's made them hungrier, or if it's more experience. I don't know.
Okay, so number 3, trustworthy, credible.
Yeah.
But when it came down to it, not quite as keen and hungry as the other 2.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That's an explanation that anyone can understand.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you're down to the last 2.
Yeah, this is hard.
And was it a he and a she, or a she and a she, or
A he and a she.
a he and a she? Okay.
Yeah.
Irrelevant, but.
Yeah.
So what did number 2 do that got him or her into the top 3, and then where did number 2 fall short?
So number 2 got in there. So he's a director. He's been in it for 30 odd years. He knows the area really well. So it built up knowledge, trust. I didn't feel sold to by him.
Right.
He didn't try and go, oh, will you do that? Because by this point I'd already had enough anyway. I just wanted straight into, what's the money?
Yeah.
Don't muck around. Come on. You're already here and you know my requirements. So the things that I liked about him, definitely trusted him. The clincher for me was overage.
Right.
So, which made me believe.
So this is an agent that's happy to do a sliding scale fee structure based on if they get you over an agreed price, they get additional commission.
Yeah.
Right.
Because recapping on what my motivation is for selling, I don't need to sell. There's no deadline. I'm looking to sell, as I told all of the agents, quite blatantly or bluntly. I'm wanting to sell to see if I can get loads of money.
Maximise your investment. Yeah. Maximise your return on the property. That's normal. That's what people in property do.
Yeah. So I'm not looking to move. I'm not looking for a quick sale because I've already got another property lined up. I'm only looking to sell if I can maximise the profit.
Yeah.
If I can get, as I put it to them, the silly money that's in the market at the moment, then I will sell. If I'm in any doubt that I can't get the silly money, I don't need to sell. I'll just rent it out. Yeah. No problem. Yeah. Now he was one of the 2 that was really on my page with fully understanding what I wanted.
Yeah.
And that is the money.
Yeah.
That's my motivation right now. And he was the only one of 2 that really understood that's what I wanted and that I believed would go to as far as he needed to go to get it. And then the clinch on that was he wasn't afraid to negotiate on his fee. I think he is. I had said that I want to pay 1.5%. He was like, he was very unapologetic, which I liked. He was like, well, that's our fee anyway.
Right.
It was like, well, we're worth it. Why would I ever charge any less? Because I'm doing a great job. Very unapologetic, which I liked. And then the overage, when I said about the incentive that I put in the initial email for anything above the minimum price, then there'll be 20%. He said, well, we do that anyway. He's like, yeah. He was like, come on, yeah, let's do this. And so I believed that. And he wasn't in a really salesy way. It was in a trustworthy, on my page way.
This is what I do way.
Yeah,
That's
like,
what it sounds like.
well, why wouldn't we?
Yeah.
He's like, it's in my interest too, and I want you to have the best price, and then you'll tell your friends. And
I want to come back to that concept in a minute, but now I want to get down to the number one.
Number one, okay. So, number one.
So let me just say, so this is the agent who you are planning to instruct, and this agent doesn't know this yet.
No. So hopefully.
So yes, it's the agent you're planning to instruct, and no, she doesn't know.
Yes.
Okay.
Planning to instruct her. No, she doesn't know. So main reasons, again, for her, trust, absolutely. I feel ever so slightly with her that because again of my situation, that I'm a bit like, do I, don't I? I really believe with her that I'm afraid that if I don't get the right price that I want to be in safe hands with somebody that I really feel that I can communicate with and say, I'm sorry, that's just not good enough and I don't want to sell my house. That to me is actually really important. It may not be the same for a friend of mine that's looking to sell at the moment because her motivation is time. So it again comes to trust, and with her I just felt like I will be able to really say exactly what I mean, maybe not quite as much.
So it's the relationship you feel you'd have with that agent.
Yeah.
Is part of it.
Yeah, the relationship I have with that agent.
Did she also? What did she say about maximising the price?
So strategy.
Okay. She had one.
She had one.
Yeah.
It was what she put it on at. Already got buyers interested. Sorry, not buyers interested, but has applicants that are looking for similar properties. I mean, none of these agents really had a moment to prepare because...
No, it was short notice,
Yeah, less than 24 hours. And her strategy, and she just taught me through briefly, it was how she would speak to a buyer and what she would say to them. Because I was like, well, how are you going to get more? How do I know that you can't get 290 out of that person? And she gave me examples of how she words things and what she'd say to people. And I think the other thing that really, really did it for me, she is a one-woman band, one-woman band. And I remember when I bought the house, I wanted it. And apparently I said to the agent at the time who was doing the viewings, I want this house, make sure I get it. And he said, okay, I'm too scared, I'll make sure you get it. But what I didn't like about that was that, and I understand in bigger companies it has to be the way, I wanted the house, I wanted to make an offer, I had to phone the office, wait for the phone call to come back. With her, she'll be doing the viewings, and she was saying she'll do back-to-back viewings to get the exposure, get a bit of FOMO going.
Yep.
I was like, yeah, let's do that. And she'll be the person, so if somebody says, I want this, and I want it now, like I did, what do I need to do to get this? She's already standing there and can say, you might need to up it.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And that's what I want from this. And that's why I picked her.
So she made you feel that she understands the job you're hiring someone to do, which is to maximise value property. So she gave you her explanation about how she'd go about achieving it, and that was better than just, I'll put it on Rightmove and take best and final offers, right?
Yeah.
You trusted her. I think the key takeaway here, I reckon the clincher, because you've said you trusted and believed in the strategy of two others.
Yeah.
The clincher here, which is magic, and I didn't know you were going to say this because this is what I've said from the start, right, is that it is the working relationship you can have, how functional a relationship with the individual. If that's a really great working relationship where you can communicate honestly with your agent and they can communicate honestly with you, you are going to get a better result faster because you're not tiptoeing around each other's sensitivities, you're not failing to communicate in ways the other person doesn't understand. It's the relationship, and it's the personal working relationship between you and the agent that is absolutely critical. And I find it fascinating that actually ended up being the clincher for you.
Yeah, because can I just add on that? One of my greatest fears was, as I said to you when I started this, because it's been a bit of a whirlwind. You're like, just get your house valued, and I was like, okay, that's fine. And then contacting the agents, they're like, where's your house? 3-bed? They're like, give me it. And I'm like, I don't even know if I want to sell it yet. So for me, it's very like, I've been very anxious, very emotional about it. I don't know what to do. But whereas in that, my biggest fear is not accidentally selling my house, but feeling like I'm backed into a corner or I can't say what I want to do.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel
By pushy
obliged.
salespeople, yeah.
I don't want to be obliged to accept an offer.
Yeah.
I don't want to accept. I want to speak freely and go, no, that's not good enough. Taking it off the market. And
Because this is a life-changing decision for you.
yeah. So
You're not just a lead in a funnel.
yes, exactly. Far from it.
I think
hope.
so many agents make that mistake.
Yeah. You know, this is a really big deal, and she's one of the few that, I mean, they were all delightful except for one.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's the one that I suppose that I felt most comfortable with.
So there were 6 or 7 who didn't even reply to your email, right?
Yeah.
Am I right that one of those would have been the one of the 3 you picked?
Yeah.
Okay. So you would
Still
have
to
picked
this day,
to
no
this
reply.
day. You would have picked an agent that I think you said was an independent,
Yeah,
a
independent.
local independent.
Sells a lot of properties, particularly in my village.
Sells or just has for sale boards.
Good point. A friend of mine said the other day, "Oh, I see all their boards," and I was like, "That doesn't mean anything."
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. So local agent, independent.
And do you think you noticed them because of their boards?
I really like their boards. They're really pretty.
Cool. Okay. So one you would have chosen because of boards.
Yeah.
And this is the agent that has failed to return an email.
Yeah.
a
Right.
an
I
interest in
phoned.
instructions, right.
Spoke to a lady at reception or on the
Yeah.
desk, and said who I am and what I wanted to do. They had me at hello, or sorry, they didn't have me at hello because I was like, hi,
They'd
can I have
already
this-
lost you, hello.
They'd lost me at hello. Hi, can I have the name and email of the valuation person? Yes, it's such and such, such and such. Do you want to know about me? No, obviously not. Cool, okay, not great.
So a disinterested receptionist.
Disinterested. And that means a lot to me because I speak to a lot of
Right.
agents on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And on this exercise I called 19.
Yeah.
Sorry, 18. 19, because one of them's not on the list because they never answered or phoned me back. Big mistake. Like a pretty woman
Huge,
moan, isn't
yeah.
it? It's like, okay, it's a 3-bed semi, but still. And then, yes, so they were expecting my email, sent my email, never replied. And to not even acknowledge either, because I had a very good idea of them in my head. And would say to people, oh, you should maybe just give them a call if you're not using BestAgent. And the fact that they haven't even acknowledged is a real...
So
Okay.
what's your perception of them now?
I don't think very much of them at all. I wouldn't use them. I wouldn't say to anybody to even look them up now.
Right. Okay, so that's really interesting for agents to understand that you might have a great board presence,
Yeah.
and actually, if you weren't doing it the way we'd done, you'd have rung them up and said, hi, I want to sell my house,
Yeah.
and they would have done.
Exactly.
And you've ended up, so number 1 of the 3 randoms is an agent that you wouldn't want to deal with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and an agent that I accidentally phoned that was a commercial agent also recommended it. And I said, oh, well, I'm calling them next anyway. So the fact they were recommended by a commercial agent as well. So I was like, you had such a good chance. You
Yeah.
did so well with your, whatever the reputation is that I've seen.
Okay.
And
Okay,
you've lost it.
well, who's the second one you would have chosen?
The second one I would have chosen...
Because you probably had them in your mind before we did this
I've
exercise.
always had them in my mind because obviously living around there so long. So I mean, really, there's probably, if it didn't have to be 3, there would be, it's 3 or 4. But
Okay.
one of the next ones, who I did call and I did have out actually.
Were they day 1 or day 2?
Day 1.
Okay.
No, day 1. Again, I think I just like pretty boards. I'm as bad as those people that are like, oh, I went with that agent because they give you a free bottle of wine.
Right.
But because I'd seen it and I'd
Yeah.
noticed it and it was a new present, so I was like, I wanted to see what they were about. And actually, I was thoroughly impressed with the phone response, the follow-up. They do WhatsApp.
Okay.
That they speak to me how I want to be
Mhm.
spoken to, as in, please don't send me a godforsaken email because I
Yeah.
won't read it.
Yeah.
Just won't. But yeah, valuation was good, but not hungry enough.
Okay.
Lovely, but not hungry enough.
Okay.
Um,
So that's the scenario where you probably, had you instructed that agent, you probably would have got a sale, but you're almost certain that you wouldn't have got the same price as you would from a hungry
Yeah.
agent. So instructing that nice, perfectly professional, highly
yeah,
responsive
really
agent
professional,
could have
really
cost you
delightful.
25 grand.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Everybody's lovely, but we're talking about the difference of what could be 25 grand.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Same as my friends in London. It's like, and they were like, oh, but that agent's so nice, and
Yeah.
they bought a house and they rented it. This
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, number 3, who would have the third one that you'd have picked at random been?
The third would have been 2 that I have already had out.
Did either one of those 2 make it into your top 3?
One of them did, yeah.
Okay.
The other one, again, perfectly nice. If I'm completely honest, that the third one I would have chosen would have been a brand that I already know very well.
Okay, because you know them.
Yeah.
Right, and that's normal. People will do that, right? That's a perfectly understandable reason to pick someone. Oh, I know them. I know them, so I'll ask them because I know them. But again, knowing them doesn't mean they're going to deliver you the maximum value of your property, does it?
Yeah. So whether it had been number 3 or 4.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. What would you say to a seller in your situation, a potential seller who's thinking of putting the house on the market, about picking 3 agents?
At random? Or picking 3 whether
just,
like...
Just decided to just pick 3 on whatever basis they're doing it.
Don't do it. Just don't.
Why is it a mistake to pick 3?
Because whatever your reasons are for picking those agents, and I want to make this really clear, because if I had picked my top 3 or 4 and got valuations, number 1, I wouldn't know what else is out there because
Okay.
I'd have missed out.
You wouldn't know what you're missing, right?
My issue with just picking 3 is not hit you. You miss out on the ones that you haven't obviously seen, but there's no. My reasons for the ones that I would have picked are: oh, I've seen their boards. Oh, I like their brand. Oh, I know such and such that works there. They're really nice.
So they're utterly random reasons.
They're not random reasons, but they're not good enough reasons.
Right. Okay. Picking 3 agents for any of those reasons is likely to cost you 25,000 quid or more. That's the
Minimum.
point. Which means, how much of a difference would that amount of money make to your next house? Which means, where are you going to live next? Which means, what does your life look like next? Because this is what point I want to get across, right? Your choice of agent will change your life if you get it right.
Yeah.
But we've heard sellers just go, oh, do you know what? I can't face ringing
Can't be
more than
asked,
3.
yeah.
No, it's fair enough. Everyone's busy,
I
everyone's
don't blame
stressed,
them.
time poor. You know, I get it. But if everyone understood what the reward is for finding the best agent, nobody wouldn't do it.
So if going back to that, I have my lovely list of my 18 agents. Now, if you were to compare agents the normal way, whether it's on Google reviews, recommendations, fees, market share, brand, blah, 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 you'd be like, oh, they're number 1. But if you actually did, and this is what people don't think about, and what I'd be telling my friend who's looking for an agent at the moment, is that's great, you've got all the valuations. Now do a column of, can they get, the question that I asked, how are you going to get me the best price? What's your strategy for getting me that price? Because there's a hell of a difference between fee, valuation, and then trusting a person, yay or nay, and the actual price that they're going to get you.
Yeah. So the question we were saying is, the question that people should ask an agent who's in their living room is, what are you going to do that other agents won't, that will get me a higher price than they will? Your successful agent didn't give you the highest price, did they? So you're not basing this decision on the highest figure that you heard.
Yeah, because I also found that the ones that were giving me the higher prices, not that I didn't believe them, but I suppose with the 2 that I picked at the top, that they'll just keep going to the highest price. There's no ceiling on it. As in, it's not about, okay, you've got to give me some idea roughly what we're in, but it's almost like, well, we'll just keep going until we reach the final price. Okay. The final price might not be 300 grand.
Yeah, it might be whatever it is, right.
But could be before that, could be after that. But they'll go until they get it. So they can't.
So do you want to call?
Yeah, should we call them?
Yeah. Do you know what? If I was an agent that had been picked out of 11, I'd be over the moon. I can't wait to hear her reaction.
Okay. What do I even say? Can you sell my house?
I'd say I've met 11 agents.
afternoon, it's Amy speaking.
Hi Amy, it's Sam Westlake here.
Hello Sam, how are you? I was only thinking about you earlier.
Oh, that's good.
I was scrolling through my text and there you were. Oh, shall I call, shall I not?
Probably because I said, don't email me, I don't read emails, and also booted you out of my house quite quickly, didn't I? So...
I know. I went ahead and emailed you anyway because you gave me a quick blessing at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, what did I do? I hope I haven't annoyed you. Go on, sorry.
No, you're fine. Amy, I've actually got you on speakerphone, just so you know. I'm sat with my boss. We're just don't worry, nothing untoward. Hello. No, but we just wanted to call you to say, please, can you list my house and try and sell it, please?
Yeah, I would love to. Oh, thank you so much. I'm chuffed to bits with that. Oh, that's brilliant. And you're ready to go?
What would you say to any agents watching this who think that, oh, this is just a greedy vendor?
I'm not greedy. I'm doing it to, well, yeah, you might think I'm being greedy, but I suppose yes. No, actually, I wouldn't say greedy, because I'd just say I'm looking to sell while the market's high, and at the moment it's like stocks and shares, isn't it?
You're taking an opportunity to improve your life.
Yeah, I'm thinking about
You can call
the
it greedy,
future.
I suppose, but
Yeah, call me greedy, call me what you want, but
I don't think it is.
if you're in the position that I'm in, where I can sell now while it's high,
I think greedy is wanting more than you need,
yeah,
but looking to find a new home for your future needs.
yeah,
Yeah.
looking to maximise the value of my house
Yeah,
right now,
It's not greedy.
rather than wait
And in fact,
until
I
next
say
year.
any agent that says that, you don't understand what your job is, because your job is to maximise the value, not just sell, but to maximise the value.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to wrap this up. Congratulations.
Thanks.
It's going to be fascinating to see how this plays out.
Yeah.
Okay, on that happy note, you heard it, the golden nugget straight from the seller's mouth. So that's what you've learned in the process of deciding to invite agents around to talk about selling a house, getting to the point of choosing one to sell.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Sam. Thank you for agreeing to do this publicly.
Yeah, you're
That's
welcome.
a big deal.
Exactly what I wanted to do.
All right, guys, and anyone who's watching this and thinking of selling their house, if you don't want to have to contact 18 agents manually and ring them all and email them all individually, that's the whole reason that we built BestAgent. So go to bestagent.co.uk, put your details in there, have your privacy protected, and achieve the same end result, which is finding the agent who actually knows how to maximise the value of your house. Best price, best agent.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. See you on the next one. We'll see how Sam's getting on.
Yeah. Tune in to Moving Home with Sam. I'm going to take your show.